Okay. Good morning. Good morning. I'm trying to go live more on my channel, as I said. So I just want to first off say peace, shalom, shalom, assalamu alaikum, hotep, namaste, jambo, ashe, all the greetings that there are of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. This is for the darkest minds of the light, and it's also for those who don't really know what's going on, and they want answers, they want information. Everybody's talking about P. Diddy. So please hit the like, by the way, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If I sound like I'm a little out of breath, because I'm exercising, so bear with me. Trying to push myself to like a higher level. So, I'm doing the machine and I'm talking. So this is my walk and talk indoors in the gym. Okay, so let's talk about Diddy. Me personally, for years, I've been talking about what I saw. I was in the industry only as a model. And I also was doing some background vocals, singing, but that wasn't the main thing I was doing. I mean, there was once I did do some stuff like with Whitney, actually at Whitney's house, and that was bizarre. I've told that story before. But it wasn't anything, Whitney, I didn't see her connected at all with Diddy, so rest in power to Whitney. But I've told this story since 1999, probably not 1999, probably since about 2001. I've been telling this story about the bizarre things that I encountered, that I witnessed, being around several different celebrities. By the way, everybody's not doing a freak off who's there. Everybody's not, doing all this nefarious stuff. People are just there at parties, at runway shows, at video shoots. And so, yes, you do see things and you're like eyebrows raised or eyes wide shut, but you're not like, if you're there, it doesn't mean, oh gosh, you were involved in the freak off. And I'm not saying that for myself, but I know personally that when I was there, everybody wasn't involved in a bunch of crazy stuff. Was there crazy stuff going on? Of course. I say that because there are people, like Diddy was so famous. He was the guy for all the parties. He had the white parties. He had his Halloween party that I've also remembered, like, oh my God, that Halloween party. I just recently remembered, like, that was Diddy's party that I went to. Prince was there. So many people were there. So what am I saying? I'm saying just because someone was present, you can't do like this witch hunt and, say, okay, you were there, Kevin Hart, you were there, Justin Bieber, you were there, so-and-so, so you're guilty. It was the lit party to be at. You know what I'm saying? So everybody probably was there who was anybody. Now, peace goddess, essence energy, peace to Hootie, peace Golden Huggins, and my sister, Bonita Sutton. Peace, everybody. I hope your morning's going well. So let's talk about this. Because like I said, I actually was there, and not just there like, oh, standing in line, waiting. I'm talking about at the Diddy. I'm just going to go like the stories I've been telling, which are honest. So it's never going to change. Maybe there are some things that I didn't share with the public, but for the most part, what I have shared is true. And it's actually panning out because when I met Sonnetter in 2020, he interviewed me. If you go back to my interview where I'm sitting and talking to Sonnetter in that black dress in a chair, if you go back to that interview, you'll hear me say that when I went to an after runway party. So it wasn't a Diddy white party. It wasn't any Diddy party, but he was there. You get what I'm saying? He was there. And this is one instance when, after we did a show, which was common, like if you've ever done any runway for like high fashion, haute couture, if you've ever done any high fashion or any runway shows, you do the show, super chaotic, you know, you're on the runway, you're changing, show's over. Then they have like this, even during sometimes, but they have like this party afterwards. And like, it's all the elite, so-called elite, and models, of course. Not every model, but, you know, like some models are invited, right? So I was there at this one model post-runway show party. There were girls bare ass naked serving as like kind of like waitresses. You get what I'm saying? It was like, for me, I was in like 20s at the time, I believe. I got to do the math. Yeah, I was in my late 20s. Well, anyway, I was younger. And for me, it was just so crazy. But I've said this before, when you're at this kind of stuff, if you notice about how all the stories that are told, you can't, nobody is freaking out like, what the hell? Like, oh, what? That's crazy. Like, if you see something crazy going on, if you act like that, you're out, you're put out, you know what I mean? Like, you're on the outside. Like, oh, you're not elite. You don't belong here. Why is this shocking you? This shouldn't shock you. You get what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I've always repeated throughout the years, that I knew that. Like, anything that was out of control, even if you weren't doing it, if you were just there, you had to just act like it's chill. Like, oh, kind of like if you don't smoke weed, but somebody lights up a blunt, you're not going to be like, oh my God, you're smoking weed. You know what I mean? So with this kind of stuff, if you were around it, like if you weren't famous and rich, I mean, I'm talking about models. So and by the way, don't think that like Carmen Cass and Giselle Bundchen, don't think they were anybody. When you're a model, you're nobody. Like, I don't care how famous you are, if you're Naomi Campbell, you're not anybody in these crowds. Like, you're not getting respect in the sense of, you're getting respected, but you're not getting like exalted. I mean, you're getting respected like every other person, like standing in line at the grocery store. So I just want to say that, like, so if you're a model, I don't care how famous you are, you're not up there high. The whole industry is super male dominated, super misogynistic. I know that now. I can put that word on it because I'm wiser now. So anyway, I digress. And yeah, if you're a male model too, you're just like the women models. You're just like, okay, you're a model. You're just like a jacket that I put on or a nice watch. I don't care how valuable of a watch you are, you're just a model. So I digress. So if you're there and you see crazy stuff going on, I know Puffy, let me see, is not doing well in jail. Huge culture shock, yeah. Yeah, like a prop, exactly. A really nice prop though, a very expensive one. And that's every single model. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, it's different for, no. When you go into that industry, there's different levels for everybody, right? So if you go into the industry as a model, you're at the lowest rung on the ladder. You're not low like garbage, but you're on the lowest rung as a model. Again, I don't care how famous of a model you are, because see, they make you famous. Like Cindy Crawford, those supermodels from the 80s and 90s, all of these models that are super famous, like Naomi, Tyra, they were made into like brand models, you know, like spokesmodels. They were elected because, like Cassie, they were good at taking the orders and governing girls and keeping girls in line. No, I'm not saying models are prostitutes. Every model is a prostitute. I am not saying that. I repeat, I am not saying that every model is a prostitute. However, if you are a top model, you did do some prostitution. And I'm not shaming those women, and I'm saying allegedly, so no one will try to legally come after me. I'm not talking about the top models, I'm talking about lower people who will attack me. But from what I've seen, it doesn't matter how famous of a model you are, how rich and successful, they make you successful. Remember, God, I met her, I hung out with her too when she was, Anna Nicole Smith. I hung out with her in LA. She had a handler. His name was Mr. Big. That's a whole different story. So the Diddy stuff that I know is from New York and Europe. That's what I know, like the stories I tell you about Diddy. But there's some stuff when I lived in Santa Monica, when I lived in LA, there's so much stuff. Oh my God, there's so much stuff that now I look back on it, I'm like, damn, there's so much stuff that I witnessed. When I hear the story about, I didn't finish telling you about okay, let me get back to the story with the girl serving naked. So they were all from Belize. Okay, I've been telling the story before the Shine information came out, before anything. I was like, these models are from Belize. I've been saying this. And now I'm seeing, oh my God, they were flown in as models. Hear me out. They're flown in as models, paid as models, but look at the work they're doing. See, that's another thing. There's so many jobs that I said, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I've walked off so many music videos. Because my dad used to watch all the videos. He used to go on BET and be like, telling his friends, that's my daughter, that's my daughter. So there are so many videos that I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, okay. And they would pay me. I was sent there by an agency. I was with an agency. I was with Ford Commercial a lot of times. Other times I wasn't with Ford. I was with a different agency. But anyway, and you know what? I would always get paid in cash. Always. Even if my agency sent me there, I was always paid in cash. And you gotta remember, this is like the 90s and the early 2000s, right? So it wasn't like now. Nobody was cutting you a check either, but it was all cash, and they had tons of cash. That's another thing. I remember more than one time, I actually I was on the big pimpin' video, and some shit went down. I told the story before, and I'll keep telling it, where they wanted to, I've told this story it's been decades that I've been telling this story. When it first happened, I told it, of course, because it was very, humiliating, but I didn't do it. Okay, basically, they wanted to pour so-called Cristal while I was in the pool or in like the jacuzzi or whatever. They wanted to pour it on me, all over me, because, they wanted a woman with big breasts, and they wanted to pour it. And I was like, no. So I went to Jay-Z, and I was like, Damon and all these guys out there, they want to do this and this, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I'll never forget how wimpy he was. He was just like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to finish up over here, and I'm going to go out there and see what's going on. And I was thinking, I thought you were in charge. He wasn't like he was in charge. He was so weak and feeble. I'll never forget that. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. Sorry. So what I'm getting at is they paid me on the spot. Boom. Dun, 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 dun. I think it was like $2,000. It might be $2,500. Pulled out the money. When I say they, it was a woman who was like, clipboard kind of whatever, assistant director, whoever she was. She's like, okay, here you go. Then they took me it was basically, we were in Trinidad, but basically they got me back to the mainland and I was done with the video. I was back in Miami. So, because that's where I originally started before I got to to do the video, on set. So I digress. So, oh, by the way, it wasn't even real Cristal. They drank all the Cristal from the bottle and they filled it up with it was either water or club soda. So it wasn't even real Cristal. That's what they were like. It's not even real champagne. That's not the point. I'm not going to let you pour champagne or whatever all over me in a video. What is my dad going to say when he sees it, So anyway, getting back to what I was saying about models, you have to, they don't care who you are. And don't think, oh, that's because you were lower. No, I was actually one of the agency models. I wasn't like a girl. Sometimes I'll see a pretty girl and be like, you want to be in a video? But I will say that Jay-Z did ask me, do you want to be in that video? When I had met him. But I wasn't just some stripper or some unprofessional model. I was a professional model. They don't care. So back to what I was telling you about the girls. So this was in Europe. God, things are so, I'm like 95% sure this is in Europe. Forgive me if it's fuzzy, but I'm pretty sure this was in Europe. If it wasn't, it definitely was in New York. And people can say, oh, that's because you're lying. No, I'm not lying. These are the details. This is what happened. I was there, and there were 15 girls walking around naked, serving as waitresses. How you would see waitresses with their, all the waitresses having the same uniform? Well, they had on their birthday suits, but everybody else had on clothes. So I took one of the girls aside and I said, when I saw her, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that they have you walking around like that. I said it privately. Because again, remember, if I would have acted what the hell do you guys have these girls walking around like this for? I would have been on the outside. I never would have been able to, be in the in crowd or come into, elite parties. But I still felt so compassionate and sad for them. And when I went and took her aside, I'll never forget it. I was like, I'm so sorry. And she felt like I was looking down on her. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. She didn't say, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I'm a model. You're a model. I'm a model just like you. Basically telling me, bitch, I don't know what you're talking about. You're no different than me. You know what I mean? And I remember going, oh, in my mind, like, excuse me. So I remember that. He looked sloppy. Yes. Oh my God, they were very drunk. I remember Dame in that video. He looked sloppy drunk. He'd be wilding. To this day, I have never sat down and watched that. I have not watched it. I've seen, like little clips of it when you're watching like a documentary, but I never watched that video. But yeah, yep. Isn't that interesting that it's Peace Ben Franklin? Peace Ben Frank. Isn't it interesting that it's called Big Pimpin'? Okay, so, and I'm not saying Jay-Z is pimping, but very interesting, right? So the girl was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a model, you're a model. I'm just modeling. This is a job that they're paying me for. And I think she told me what they're paid. But basically, that was something that I remember that stands out. But what am I saying? Well, at that party, I didn't see freak-offs. Oh, it was Europe. You know why? Now I remember. Okay, so you know who Prince Albert is? He was sitting next to me and he asked me if I wanted to have his baby. Now, I don't know if he was joking or pretending, but that is the God honest truth. And I was just like, what do I answer to that? I already was sitting there nervous, and you're around a bunch of celebrities, a bunch of so-called royal people. They're all really depraved people, but so-called royals and billionaires. So what do you say? Like, obviously I didn't say yes or anything. I just was like, I think I nervously laughed it off. And the reason I said that is he said some other stuff that I'm not going to say on here, but it was so uncomfortable. You know who else did that to me once? This is in LA. Name his name. Bill Maher, right? He didn't do this, but Bill Maher was dating, or he was with a girl who modeled with me, or who I used to model with. And she said, I want to introduce you to Chris Rock. And she invited me to a dinner. Again, often, it's not going to be, mark my words on this, it's not going to be like one-on-one. If they're like, oh, I want you to meet Chris Rock, it's not going to just be you meeting Chris Rock. Usually, it's going to be you, the person who's introducing you, their friends, and you're all going to go out together, which isn't uncommon. That's how people usually do things, right? But anyway, so she invited me. I think it was Spago's. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive. It definitely was in West Hollywood on Sunset, but it was a really shishi, super, super nice restaurant. So I went there and I met Chris. And the first time I met him, he was so, just like Jay-Z, just very, seemed nervous and not confident. I'm not gonna say shy, but just very intimidated. More than Jay-Z. Now remember, this isn't Jay-Z the billionaire that I met. This was Jay-Z early on, right? So I just want to put that out there, because people be like, Hov wasn't intimidated by you, you ain't nobody, whatever. I'm not saying he was intimidated by me, he just seemed weak and intimidated, but I digress. So back to Chris. Chris was really, really kind of reserved, kind of in a creepy way, I'm not gonna lie. Couldn't make really didn't consistently make eye contact, was always like giggling to himself, kind of like, it's not shy though. It was just more like quiet and intimidated. Yeah, sure was. This is in 2000s. So he was, so we finished the dinner. I left, liked him, we exchanged information. Then I went out with him again, alone, on a date. And he said some disgusting things to me that I did not like. But I thought about it. Was it niggas? No, there wasn't at all. No, not when I was there. But Tahuti, I will say this, going from California back to New York this wasn't a Diddy party that I'm gonna tell you a story. I'll leave the Chris Rock story alone and I'll go back to say, okay, so once I was at Life, now this was, I think this might've been 2001. No, it's before 9/11. So it was like 1999 or 2000. So I was at this club called Life, which Puffy loved going there. And we were in like the VIP section, like there's levels down, you go down levels, or possibly up, shit, I don't remember y'all. But basically, there's different levels. And I'm not gonna lie, I was stuck up. Like I never wanted to go to like the common, so-called common people level. So I'm in Life and we're sitting in there at a table and we're with Puffy and J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, and me and a couple of my friends, other models and people, we're at a table, it's all VIP'd off, get it? And outside of the VIP, like if you're sitting on the booth or like the chair at our table, you could turn your chair around and look outside the rope. But there wasn't a rope, but people knew, okay, this is a table. Outside of it, there were just people who weren't at our table, and they were outside of the table. Why am I saying that? Because everything was fine. We're all hanging out. J-Lo's cool. And we're sitting not on the seat, like the lower seat. We're sitting up on the backs of the booth. Because, you want to be seen. You want everybody to see your outfit, your body, So we're sitting up behind the booth. I mean, on the back of the booth. Even J-Lo is. But Puffy, he's sitting on the outside of the table where the chair is, like facing out toward the dance floor. And this guy, he might have been 20, young guy, is like standing in front of Puffy, gyrating, doing sexual provocative moves and looking at Puffy. And I mean, he's getting down like a girl would come and dance for a guy. And he's dancing, and Puffy's just sitting there, focused on that guy. J-Lo and all of us are behind Puffy, so we can see the back of Puffy, kind of like, not the back, but the side of his face. And I'm looking at Puffy, and he's like just focused on this guy, like, yeah, baby. Yeah, like he's not saying, yeah, baby, because it's music. I mean, maybe he was, but I couldn't hear him, but he's like, just like, oh yeah. And he's licking his tongue out at the guy, like licking it, like a snake, how guys do, like suggestive. And the guy's like touching his body all over, like, yeah, you want me, yeah. And it's super awkward, because even if it was a girl, like your girl is right here, bro. Like, I don't want to say bro anymore. Your girl is right here, sir. And the reason I don't want to say it is because it's not really serious, and this is a serious matter. So, she went from like having fun, drinking, laughing, to like any woman would, serious, angry, like just a pissed off look on her face, sad, and humiliated, and she got quiet. I've told this story since it happened. And we were all awkward, like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? If you see somebody's boyfriend totally disrespecting her right in front of everybody, it wasn't even about him being a guy, I'm not gonna lie. Because we saw that all the time, you know? Like guys with guys in that whole, you know, crowd, that industry. It was that mostly that he was just dissing her. And she was just looking sadder and sadder and sadder and sadder. And after a while, he wouldn't just stop flirting with this guy. And she got up and left. She just left. And that's the story I've been telling for years, because that's what happened. I wish I could tell more. Like, and then I followed her to the bathroom and she told me and Puffy are done. I'm just kidding. No, but she left. He did not follow her. He kept flirting. He was hanging out like, hey, what's up? We're having fun, right? Y'all got enough drinks? Oh, yeah, we're good, Puffy. And he was Puffy. He wasn't P. Diddy back then. So, yeah, that was that. Nobody could think now that what she may have been dealing with this guy. Even that little bit for me, I was like, God, he's a jerk. But I didn't get into it like, he's such a jerk. And I was just like, whatever, he's a jerk. Well, guys for you, you know? So that was that. That was before the shooting in the club with Shine. So if I'm off on my dates, forgive me, but I know obviously it was before that. Apparently, he took her to clubs a lot because he was showing her off. Like, I'm with J-Lo. She thought it was a love relationship, but he was just, like he did Cassie, and like he did that other girl, I can't remember, the one that he took shopping after Cassie. He just always did that to women. And so, the Puffy white parties that I've been to 2 official Puffy white parties. However, I just realized a few days ago that the Halloween party that I went to at Life, again, I'm talking about the Club Life in New York City, that was thrown by Puffy. Puffy threw that Halloween party. And that was lit. Oh my God. Anybody, I mean, come on, Prince was there. Prince was there. I have a story about that. I love Prince, rest in power. I mean, think about it. Prince was there. Everybody was there. Not just black, like white celebrities, billionaires. Anybody that you think could be there was there. And yeah. So I told the story about the white parties. I left some stuff out because I haven't said a lot about the internet, but it was nothing about a freak off, nothing like that. But I will keep repeating because you see my title. Puffy wasn't this mastermind head of racketeering and mafia, organized crime. No, he was just a pawn, just like Epstein. And we say, oh, it's a black thing, it's a black thing. I don't see it as that so much as it's somebody has to take the fall thing. When things get messy, just like in all mafia, in all organized crime, if things get messy, things get leaked, things get out of control, and you're the reason, or it's linked to you as the mafia person, one of the members, you got to clean it up. And if you don't clean it up enough, you take the fall. Epstein, he got messy, he got comfortable. And I'm glad he did, because we got to stop these sex traffickers. Puffy, He got too comfortable. Like, how are you running out of a room in a high-end hotel, beating up a woman? How are you doing that in a towel? You know there's cameras. You don't care because they really get so comfortable that they say, oh, I'm untouchable. They forget every one of you are expendable. Remember what he said about models? How in the industry, models are basically on the first rung of the ladder. And then a step up from models would be like singers, you know, music people. And then a step up from music people are actors. And then you keep going up. Then you got the background people, directors. And then we get all the way to the top, who's running the machine. And they don't look like people in hip hop. Now, again, I said, is it a black thing? I said, not so much. But are there most of the people at the very, 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 very top? I'd say less than 0.5% are, if any at all, are African American. I don't think any of them are African American. Are they African? Yeah, I think there are some Africans in the top elite. But I don't know. But I'm saying, when I went to these parties, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. And let me tell you something. To the women in those situations, I know what you're doing. I know I empathize with you. I've been helping women, and I've had some experiences myself with women getting involved with abuse. I'm saying, when you are a type of woman like Cassie and then like Kim Porter, and I'm even gonna say Kim Kardashian, all of these drop dead, stunning women, all the models that you see, like Gigi Hadid, or whatever her name is. I'm talking about the models. Anna Nicole Smith, Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell. Remember the one model that they found in the river? I forgot, she's like, this is from the 80s. Drop dead gorgeous black model. She was the spokeswoman for Yves Saint Laurent. They found her in the Seine, floating in the Seine. Or was it the Rhone? It was one of the rivers in Europe. They found her floating in the river. Like, and when they did an autopsy on her, she had like contusions, bruises all over. They beat her to death and threw her in the river. Why did I say that? Because as much as you think, I said models are expendable or they're on the first rung, Puffy, Epstein, all of these big time party face guys, remember I'm saying this, party face? And come on with the freak off stuff. The whole industry is a freak off. Like, come on. That's like you guys, not you guys, people act like, oh, I'm so shocked. But then you watch music videos with men and women gyrating and rolling around on top of each other, orgies in the videos. The women are exalted for, like, the sluttier you can be, the more fame you get. Megan Thee Stallion, I love my sisters, I love women, I'm not slut shaming, but let's be real. Do you think that, what's that girl's name? Help me out. The one who says, the one who sings the Barbie song, the light-skinned cutie pie, the young girl with the red hair. What's her name? She sings that song, that boy's a liar. What's that song? When she says, he's a, God, I can't remember the song. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The young girl, who now they're trying to cancel her. Somebody put in the chat if you're listening. She's, oh my God, I used to know her name. The young light-skinned girl. No, not Sexy Red. She's the light-skinned one with the red hair. She's really pretty, got a crazy body. Like, she did the video, the Barbie song with Nicki Minaj. Like, she has a cool voice. It's like, na 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 na. It's kind of like monotone, but it's really cool. It's not like, she doesn't get turned up, but it still sounds real sexy. God, what is her name? She has that curly red afro, and she's a crazy body, like, not Doja Cat. No, she's black, but she's light skinned. And they've lately been trying to cancel her because her friends came out and were like, I want to show you that she does colorism and that she fat shames. And that's all because she's, yes, Ice Spice. Thank you, Jody. Huh, I see you in here. Nice video that you did on me, Jody. I'm not mad. Nice to see you. Did you subscribe? Thank you for that, Jody. Yes, Ice Spice. Thank you, Drea Renee. Yeah, Ice Spice. Thanks to Hootie. So you guys notice, you think Ice Spice wants to be slutty like that? She doesn't. Because if you look at her story, like, none of these girls want to do that stuff. You really think that Cardi B still wants to go around squatting down and, yeah, this is my coochie, and sticking her tongue out with children? No. But that's in their contract. You know, I'm glad to see you here, Jody. Thanks for being here. Because we need to all listen to this and spread the word. Like, you know, if you can, let's talk about this, right? It's not just about, ooh, look what Diddy did. It's the industry. Diddy is we've heard this before. He's a pawn. He's a puppet. He's not on the top rung, but he got messy. He got messy. And so somebody has to take the fall because the entire hive isn't going to take the fall for him. They're not. You know, the cabal, they're not taking what? You couldn't even take it down anyway. It's going to take like nuclear missiles to take down that organization. Yeah, Ice Spice, Benita. Yes, guys. So, okay, so what I'm saying is nobody wants to act like that. When you get, ladies, you get in where you fit in, right? We know we're the power. We know we're the sex appeal. And women are actually the epitome of sex, meaning not in an objectifying way. I'm not saying it in a low, oh, just use women for sex. But women are actually the ones who carry the baby after sex, right? So we're a representation of the reproduction, AKA sex, right? So throughout the years, it's been corrupted. Look at what Diddy did to Cassie and Kim. Oh, I'm gonna use these women. I'm gonna get what I need. They have the P power, because we do have P power. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you don't have the power. You understand me? Because you got the P. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they talk about how you look. They try to talk about your age. You have a vagina. You have a vagina, a real one. And that's priceless. And that's why the sex industry, I'm saying the sex industry alone, I'm not even just talking about the illegal sex trafficking, which is over $150 billion, sadly, a year, estimated. It's probably triple that. But I'm talking about the legal sex industry is like, what, 200 billion a year worldwide? That's not a bunch of dudes. It's women. Okay, yeah, I know there's man on man stuff. But the crux of it, sadly, is the exploitation of women first and then children. Now we're going into some real sick stuff. But you get what I'm saying? So, ladies, what I was saying, follow me. I know I'm still on point, right? I know I went down a long road, but I want to show you what I'm saying. So, Once you get to a certain amount of power, perceived power, like, oh, you made it. You're Janet. You're Whitney. You're Kamala Harris, whatever, they always trip up saying how you say her name. You're Kamala Harris. You made it. You're Madeleine Albright. Yeah. You're Margaret Thatcher. You're still controlled sexually, and you're still being exploited somehow. Trust and believe in this system. If you're a woman and you're powerful, you would think, I can do what I want. Think about Cardi. I don't want to take my clothes off and do that anymore. I'm a mom. I got the power. It could be taken away like that. And how do they take it away? They don't just snatch it and then make you look like a victim. Slowly, they start chipping away at your reputation. Oh, Ice Spice she does colorism. She's light skinned, right? Beautiful body, right? Let's pay this girl to say that she's exposing Ice Spice for being a colorist and fat shaming. Chipping away at her. Who else did they do that to? Remember what Tahuti said, y'all? What other female artist that's had the so-called power did they do that to? Look at the screen. Remember Doja Cat? Doja Cat lost 300,000 IG followers. Oh, Doja Cat's so crazy. Look at Doja Cat. Oh my God, she's calling herself a demon. She shaved her head. Why do you think? Why do you think? She was kicking back and I don't mean kicking back chill. I mean kicking against the pricks, like, get away from me, I'm not doing this. No, I made it. Why do I have to be this? Why do I have to do that? And they said, oh, really? I thought you thought, bitch, don't you remember you're a cow? Remember her first song? Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, did you forget that you're our cash cow, girl? You better get back in line, Doja Cat. So she had her breakdown. Now she's back. Because they told her, Doja Cat, what you want to do, girl? You want to go out bad? You want us to do you like we did Britney? Is that what you want? Because we will do it. Okay? No, she said, okay, fine. Now she's back on top. I want to show you all, how my demons look, everything, right? She's back on fire. And I can't blame her. I'm not going to fault her and be like, yeah, they sold out. You just don't understand. So why am I saying this? No woman who gets the power is going to be like, oh, I think I want to keep on twerking when I get on stage. I want to remember that video where Ice Spice was walking around in that short little red tube dress, like her booty was hanging out. And she looked so uncomfortable. If you look at the body language, when you look at that video, she kept on pulling it down. That's a natural reaction for people who don't want to show their butt. And she's walking around the stage and she kept pulling it down in the back. There was no pulling it down, but she was doing the action. Why? Because she didn't want to wear that. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So, thank you, Tahuti. So what am I saying? Even the most powerful people, definitely the women are weapons being used in this industry. But the power that women, now they can say, oh, you're a feminist. I'm going to talk on it, okay? The women you have so much power that you just we have been programmed to not know or not believe that we have this power, to not realize it. I heard a story. I'm not going to lie. It was on a series I was binge watching. And the story was told this way. The person said, we used to go see the elephants with my mom and my dad, my parents. And elephants are so strong. They're the strongest creatures in the entire, wild kingdom. by far, right? Largest living mammal, strongest. They can pull full-size trees up by the roots with no problem, right? She said, but when we would go see the elephants, thank you, Ben Frank. When we would go see the elephants, and we'd look at them, they'd have a chain around their necks and a little tiny spike driven into the ground, and they'd be just held down by that tiny little spike, compared to them. And they'd just be there on the chain, roaming around. And she said, I was so just dumbfounded. I would say, Mommy, Daddy, why are these elephants not running away from just being on this spike? Like, they're so strong. Don't they know they can just pull that up out of the ground just like it's melted butter? And the mommy and the daddy explained, well, when they're little babies, they're put a chain around their necks, and then the chain is spiked down into the ground with that spike. So when they're little baby elephants, they can't pull the spike up. And they just, as they grew up, they tried at first when they were fresh, young. They tried to break away, but they couldn't because it was too strong. But once they grew and grew, they never tried again. They never tried to pull that spike up again because they were programmed. Ladies, even gentlemen too, everyone. Because Puffy's a victim. He is in his way. Hey, when I say victim, I'm not excusing him for the crap he did. But Puffy was a victim of himself first, greed, insecurity. I'm going to talk about the Black community real quick. And it's not negative in the Black community to be a pimp. It's exalted. So it didn't take much for him to be like, oh, I'm a pimp, and everybody's like, yeah, you the man, because pimps are exalted in the world, really, but especially in the Black community. Pimping is like, they say, hey, you're a pimp. That's a compliment. So Puffy, he's a victim of his environment, of himself. But I'm just saying, for the women who are in these very, very bad situations, and the children and the men, anybody who's being exploited, women first, because again, it goes back to that P power. I'm not going to lie on that. You could say what you want to say. And then you know what they'll say? If you say that to a man who will get triggered, because he might be an incel, if you say P power, they'll say, you think you're the only one with the P? No, I'm not the only one with the P, but I have one and you don't, and you want it. Remember, it is the representation of life. Oh, you nasty women, you used up. I don't care if it's used. You could say it's all about women being used up, and it's still a vagina. It's a treasure. It is. So the power is there, but I'm not trying to turn women against men. I'm talking about why women are exploited, why Cassie was turned into a sex slave / bottom sex slave, like the bottom B. And I'm sure she recruited many women. That's what they do. They don't just attract men with her, they attract women with her. Oh, look how beautiful my girlfriend is. So you don't have to be intimidated by me. Obviously, I don't want you for sex. You're beautiful, but I already have a beautiful woman. Look how beautiful she is. Just come on in and party and have fun. How do I know that? Because I was in a relationship. I was engaged to a guy, NBA player. And no, I'm not going to talk about that all on here with all the haters. But I have experienced a lot of bullshit. Got a lot of stuff to unpack. Because the more I look at this and I see what's happening to Puffy, that shit's not, excuse my language, that's not uncommon. All this stuff they're saying, all the women, all the sex, all the drugs, that's the world that they live in, okay? That's the world that they live in. Does it mean that everybody's doing drugs and doing freak offs? No. But that is literally the world that they live in. Put it this way. Imagine you go to a barbecue. You go to a barbecue party, right? We got everything, ribs, pork ribs, beef ribs. We got the tenderloin. We got all kinds of brisket. Everything's bratwurst. You're at the barbecue, but you're a vegetarian. You might eat some corn. You're vegan, so you won't even eat anything because you don't know. Are there animal products? But I'm still here. No, I don't do all that, but I'm here. There are people who are in that industry. They're just there to, act. I want to sing. Everybody wants to be, you got to market yourself, come in, do this and that. No, I don't do drugs. No, thanks. No freak offs for me, but thank you. I'm going to go home. You've even heard people like Fabulous and different people be like, Exhibit. Oh, I met Exhibit. I actually hung out with him at his Rolling Stone cover shoot. And we went to dinner with a bunch of people. That's when he was on the anger management tour. Anyway, he's a decent guy. But he tells a story about Diddy. How Diddy took him, I think it was Exhibit, took him to some weird ass club. That's all I'm gonna say. So the Diddy's like, I'm out of here. Fabulous. Oh no thanks, Diddy. I don't want to party with you. How come I haven't partied with you? Remember on the drink champs? He was making him all uncomfortable. Like, happy birthday, daddy. What? Please don't call me daddy. But yeah. So anyway, so Diddy's just the tip of the iceberg. Just like Epstein. It's organized crime. All of it is organized crime. Let's not forget that Clive Davis was grooming Whitney. We look at Whitney and we say, how could somebody who's an angel from heaven, the most amazing voice, most beautiful face, how could she just do cocaine all the time? She was in a gilded cage. Beautiful songbird. But Clive was doing Whitney just like Diddy did Kim and Cassie. Notice that they can have their careers. Kim, so stunning, beautiful, elegant. I don't believe that book. And even if she did write that book, she was being exploited. She was a prisoner. I don't believe that book though. And I love her and I feel so sad for her, but I know her power is in the universe. I know that energy doesn't die, spirit doesn't die. So she's working from the spirit realm to protect her daughters and her sons and all daughters from Diddy and from the whole cabal, from the whole mafia, So I digress. I moved off. I went off what I was saying. But these women who, Kim and Cassie, they had dreams. They wanted to do, they thought, oh my God, I'm getting emotional, you guys. Because you know what? They were little girls. Remember that? You're looking at Whitney. You're looking at Mariah. You're looking at Janet, and you're like, I want to do that. You're just innocent. You just want to dance and sing and just show people, look what I can do. Remember that when you were little and innocent? And this is for boys too. You just remember at your family parties, come up and sing, come on. That's all they wanted to do. They didn't know. They didn't know that the only way I can really get this out, the only way I can get famous, the only way is for me to let them hurt me, for me to just just to become something that they use. That goes for Diddy too. Don't forget, he was a little boy one day, once upon a time. Mama, look at me dancing. Bad, 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 bad boys, right? He was poor, so poor, so poor. Said, I want to be something one day. Oh, you do? Come on over here. I'm talking about in the hood. I'm not talking about the big music moguls. Come over here. I got something I want you to do. A freak off. Remember what Lil Wayne told us about Birdman? When he was 15 or what, 12? I don't remember, 11? I think it was 11. Come on in here. We're going to get you, we're going to let a woman do this and this to you while we all as grown men watch. Lil Wayne was a baby. But he said, you know what? I got a talent. And these guys are good to me. I never had a dad. My mom's poor. She's, you know, my little brother's hungry. Little sister's out there. I don't want her with that drug dealer guy. So I'll become the drug dealer guy. That way I can protect her. She won't have to go to that jerk. But he doesn't see the forest for the trees. Because he becomes what he never wanted to be. Because that drug dealer guy that you want to keep your sister away from, he takes you and he corrupts you. And then he says, you know, while we're doing all this and this, I'm going to get you in the music business. Oh, I don't think I could ever do that. We're connected, bro. Do you know that? Yeah. The guys who do all the high-level organized crime, you think they don't do the music too? So with that said, remember, Diddy is just, he's the sacrifice. He's the part that has to, he's the toenail. You know the toenails when you're sleeping? Your husband's toenail's too long, scratches you. Ouch! He scratched me. Oh, sorry, honey. Damn, I'm bleeding. Got to cut those toenails off. So Diddy made a mess, got sloppy, couldn't clean it up. It wouldn't go away. They waited. Why do you think it took them so long to indict him? To charge him? Because this organized crime, they control everything, including the government. It wasn't going away. It wasn't going away. They tried. They said, look, Diddy, not going away. So, we don't want to have to unalive you. So these are your options. Want to take the fall? Okay, we might be able to do this and this and this, but for now you got to go in. Remember, what's his name? 6ix9ine or what his name is, 6ix9ine. Remember, he went in, came out. Remember, Cosby went in, came out. Little leaks talking about R. Kelly's coming out. They control everything. Epstein, they kept just getting worse and worse. They're like, this cancer's too much. We got to cut him out. He's got to go. They tried to work things out here and there, patch this up, get rid of some people. But Epstein, it didn't work. So they had to take him out. So now Diddy, he's taken out. Well, no, he's going inside. And now we're going to see. Everybody's like, I want to see the trial. Trial? If you see him come back out, it's not about him being obedient anymore, by the way. It's about, can we clean this up? There's too many, when the powers that be saw that Diddy was just too sloppy, they said, we can't do this. He's too messy. Now, Negroes, excuse me, y'all, but you know our people. Flashy, flashy, flashy. Brag, brag, brag. Gotta show this, gotta show that. I'm gonna show you I'm a man. This is what I do, and this is what I do. Well, you messed up. See, Jay-Z, he learned, he tried. When he first was coming up, he was like that. But he had to cut ties with a lot of these people. He's like, I gotta get around the Bill Gates and, the Zuckermans. They don't brag.
they're not flashy. They put out stories. They have their publicists say that they shop at Target and Walmart. Like Michelle Obama pretending that she shops at Target, saying she put on a disguise and went into Target. Girl, if you don't stop, I love you, Michelle, but you're doing the most now. Like nobody's gonna recognize you because you're having sunglasses. Give me a break. Anyway, peace ascent to Phoenix. He got comfortable in his wickedness and got caught. Yes, ma'am. And he's just the tip of the iceberg. So the deeper we go, the more we know, and it looks bad. So I appreciate you all being with me while I finished up my workout. And Ecclesiastes 8:11. Napa, yes, real talk. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, we are connected. Yeah. Okay. All right, I appreciate all of you. Pray for those who are. By the way, I want to say this too. There are people who are doing these things. Diddy's not a victim of these crimes. When I said Diddy, and I tried to put him in, when I did, in the context, put him in the light of being a victim, so to speak, I was talking about when he was a child. He's now the predator. I want to make that clear. He's the predator. And he will try to pretend that he's a victim because there's somebody higher up than him, but he's not like Cassie and Kim Porter and the children and the men who are exploited. He had the opportunity to do what's right because he had power. He had a lot of power, but he chose to exploit and use people and ruin lives. So I don't feel bad for him. I wanted to say that. There are people who do evil and hurt people, but the hurt people who hurt people point at the people that they're hurting. But that sounds like a tongue twister, huh? Hurt people, but the hurt people who hurt people point at the hurt people who they're hurting and say, you did this to me. They project and they gaslight. I never did anything to you. We experience that a lot, sadly, in these days lately. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's post-COVID. I don't know if it's because it's social media. I don't know. But we have a lot of people out here, hurt people, who will hurt people and then blame the people they hurt for hurting them. When I say that, think about it. How many of you out there have people who have really tried to destroy you? And then, when you refuse to be destroyed, and you stand up to them, they have the audacity to say, how dare you? How dare you grab my wrist when I was about to beat you with this? You know, like a parent who beats their child, and the child gets strong enough, and one day that parent goes to hit the child with the belt, and the child grabs that wrist with the belt in it, and looks at that parent in the eye and say, you will not beat me. And what does the parent do? I can't believe you treated me like that. That is projection and gaslighting. I have people on the internet right now who are trying to do that to me. Too strong. The right will stand 1,000 trials. The strong will never fall. But watching stars without you, my soul cries. That's a song. All right, y'all. Much love. Peace to the darkest minds of the light. Protect yourselves. Pray for the ones you love. Send out that positive vibe. Love, love, love. Fight, fight, fight against lies. Don't let people gaslight you and make you think that you're crazy. Okay? If it smells like poop, it looks like poop, it moves like poop, it's not chocolate. Sorry, but that's true. Yeah, don't let them tell you, well, that's not poop. No. Okay, peace and love to all of you. Peace, 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 peace. All love to you. Thank you, Ben Frank. This goes out to everybody. And have a good day. Peace to the darkest minds of the light. Don't forget to subscribe and share. All right.